You're just in time for the Johnny Brew Show.
What's going on, everybody? My name is John Brookhagen, host of the Johnny Brew Show, and welcome back to another jam-packed episode. I need you guys to subscribe. I know 3 out of 4 of you are watching and you're not subscribing. Hit subscribe. Also with the notification bell. We're going to be going live a lot. I want you guys to call in or text in or leave comments while we're going live. So if you have that little bell dung, when we go live, they'll let you know. You could jump on and holler at your boy, you know? All right. Also, we are now on Rumble. Am I able to do the little finger thing? I used to be able to do it. I'm going to see if I could summon my powers and do it again. But we're on YouTube, we're on Rumble, we're on Facebook, The Johnny Brew Show. All right? Please help us out. We're also on Spotify and everywhere you get your podcasts. Got it? Good. All right, getting into what we're going to talk about today. Coronavirus, and we're going to talk a little bit about the border. These are ongoing crises that are continuing to spiral out of control. The thing about Biden's presidency is he took over this presidency on a silver platter. All right? The country was locked down. So all he had to do is say, okay, we can open up. And the economy was going to take off and increase. Right? There was no wars. There's no problems with North Korea, Middle East. Everything was pretty cool. The border problem, absolutely solved. Coronavirus, the vaccines were just coming out as the new president took office. I mean, Joe Biden was handed the country on a silver platter to be the hero. And he has managed to screw each and every aspect up incredibly. So Joe Biden went on TV to get what appears to be a booster shot in the White House. He's actually on a stage with a prop behind him. The shot, was it a prop? I've seen some videos of other politicians taking shots that were props, but I haven't seen any evidence that this one is. So this is Joe Biden, which should be terrifying, letting you know when we're going to get out of this coronavirus mess. Play tape.
To be vaccinated first to go back to normal. Like, what is the percentage total vaccinations that have to be deployed?
Well, I think we get the vast majority, like is going on in some industries and some schools, 97, 98%. I think we're awfully close. But I'm not the scientist. I think, but one thing for certain, a quarter of the country can't go unvaccinated, and that's not continue to have a problem.
97 or 98%? I mean, that is pie in the sky ridiculousness. You cannot get 97% of people to do anything, which, totally off topic, is the reason why I got problems with certain things in the election. Because you can't get 100,000 votes get delivered and 97 or 98% of them be for one person. 97 and 98 is ridiculous. Everybody, well, I mean, most of us are not anti-vaccine, even though that's what they say. You are if you ask any questions. But we're not anti-vax. I mean, most of our children got all the vaccines that they recommended. Smallpox, polio, MMR. All of our kids get that. We all got it. So, no problem with those vaccines, right? Did you know that of all those vaccines I just spoke of, in America, between 80 to 93%, never more than 93%, have gotten those vaccines. Those are the vaccines that everybody gets, that there's no controversy over whatsoever. We all get our shots. And when we say we all get it, that means it's between 80 and 93%. So no vaccines, nothing, even the most trusted of the trusted vaccines ever sniff 97%. That's number one. Number two, there's still certain people will not get the vaccine because they have natural immunity. And they believe that not only is natural immunity stronger and longer lasting, but they're afraid that getting the vaccine kills your natural immunity, and now it's replaced by vaccine immunity, which has been proven to not be as robust or long lasting as natural immunity. So, those people don't want to get the vaccine. Not because they don't believe in COVID, not because they don't want to be protected, because they believe they are protected, and to get the vaccine would hurt them. And that's if, assuming the vaccine has zero side effects, zero repercussions, assuming the vaccine was 100% safe, but it still isn't as strong as natural immunity. And if you get the vaccine with natural immunity, you lose your natural immunity. That's why some people don't want to get it. It's not that they're anti-vax or anti-coronavirus or don't believe in the science. I'm sorry, for people to continue to dismiss this is not really discussing the science. And now you have these athletes. Some of them, they don't care about politics. Believe it or not, they might not even care about Donald Trump or Joe Biden. They might not even have an opinion either way. For example, here's one young man, NBA player. Play tape.
Josh Robbins with The Athletic. What is it about the vaccine that makes you hesitant to get it?
I would start with I've had COVID in the past, and so our understanding of antibodies, of natural immunity, has changed a great deal from the onset of the pandemic, and is still evolving. I understand that the vaccine would help if you catch COVID, and you'll be able to have less symptoms from contracting it. But with me having COVID in the past and having antibodies, with my current age group and physical fitness level, it's not necessarily a fear of mine. Taking the vaccine, like I said, it would decrease my chances of having a severe reaction, but it does open me up to the, albeit rare chance, but the possibility of having an adverse reaction to the vaccine itself. I don't believe that being unvaccinated means infected, or being vaccinated means uninfected. You can still catch COVID with or without having the vaccine. I would say, honestly, the craziness of it all, in terms of not being able to say that it should be everybody's fair choice without being demeaned or talked crazy to, doesn't make one comfortable to do what said person is telling them to do. I would say that's a couple of the reasons that I would say I'm hesitant at this time. But at the end of the day, I don't feel that it is anyone's reason to come out and say, well, this is why or this is not why. It should just be their decision. And loving your neighbors, not just loving those that agree with you or look like you or move in the same way that you do. It's loving those who don't.
What a nice young man. I bet you he was a good student. I bet you he learned math. He learned how to think for himself. Not a sniff of politics, has nothing to do with nothing. He just determined in his circumstance, in his age group, his health, the benefits of getting the vaccine, the benefits he has been afforded because he already caught the virus. And he's making an adult decision. What makes him the devil? What makes him the bad guy? What makes him the anti-science, anti-vax, propaganda? Here's another young man. He's another NBA player who's decided that he doesn't want to take the vaccine Play tape.
That would be like me telling him, like, yo, your wife is going into labor. How dare you leave this team and not go tend to your wife for what that could mean for this team? That's something that's personal to him. That's health related. That's, something that's personal to his family. This is no different. This is, we're dealing with something that to me feels like has turned into a political war. When you're talking about a vaccination and non-vaccinated, I think it's become very political. And, for someone who's not extremely into politics, when you make something so political and not everyone is into politics, then you can also turn those people off, And, I think there is something to be said for people's concern about something that's being pressed so hard. Like, why are you pressing this so hard? Like, so much, you're just pressing and pressing and pressing. I think you have to honor people's feelings and their own personal beliefs. And I think that's been lost when it comes to vaccinated and non-vaccinated. And it kind of sucks that that's been lost because you're essentially not giving anyone, you say we live in the land of the free. Well, you're not giving anyone freedom because you're making people do something essentially without necessarily making them. You're making them do something. And that goes against everything that America stands for or supposedly stands for. And so I know I'm not in any position to go tell him what he should or should not be doing. And as a leader of this team, I'm not going to go to him and say, hey, man, we really need, no, the hell, you do what you feel you want to do. That has nothing. I'm not going to go and ask him, did he get a polio vaccine? So why would I go ask him if he got a COVID vaccine?
All right. I mean, these are just young men who can think for themselves, which is not what the other side likes. It's like what I said to the Board of Trustees of CCSD, what I say to Lola Brooks. If me and my doctor and my wife decide that I don't want to get the vaccine and that maybe I have a rare disease, maybe I'm prone to blood clotting, maybe I am undergoing radiation, or I'm pregnant, or for whatever the reason may be, maybe because you're religious and you don't believe in putting anything in your body that has anything related to aborted fetal parts. Right? I mean, whatever the case may be, you and your family and your doctor decide not to get the vaccine. And Lola Brooks decides that she has the power to tell you to get the vaccine against your wishes, against your wife's wishes, against your doctor's wishes, against your relationship with God's decision. Who are you? If you're on the school board, what gives you the right to tell somebody what they should put in their body? It baffles me. It baffles me that the president thinks he has the right to do that. When you start thinking about local mayors or school board trustees or county commissioners believing that they have this right, it blows me away. And meanwhile, besides what you're seeing in Australia, where they're literally beating people for smoking a cigarette in the park, and they have locked down their borders 100%, same with Canada. Border is locked down 100%. We have way over 200,000 people pouring over the border every month. Every single month since Biden took office. Like it was something like 100-something thousand, which was a shocker in February. And then it was like 180,000 in March. And then April was 200,000. It was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. And it's been over 200,000 every single month since then. And that's only counting the ones that they know of. That doesn't count the gotaways, which can be up to double the number of what they caught. There could be 400,000 people a month pouring into our country. At least 250,000, most probably about 300,000 people per month. That's like almost 2 million since Biden took office. This is not how they always felt. You've all seen the video of Obama when he was first running for president in 2007 and 2008. He talked about having a closed border. Biden ran in that election too. Biden ran in almost every single presidential election. It's a joke that you Democrats voted him in 2020. But here's Biden. I think it's 2007. Oh, whoops. I'm sorry. I missed one part. I got another video on the coronavirus because I wanted to give a shout out to Rand Paul because, bless him, he is doing the work about and asking the questions so many of us want answered. Here's Rand Paul first. Play tape.
With an Israeli study that had 2.5 million patients and found that the vaccinated group was actually 7 times more likely to get infected with COVID than the people who had gotten COVID naturally?
Senator, I'd have to get back to you on that one. I'm not familiar with that study.
Well, you think you might want to be if you're going to travel the country insulting the millions of Americans, including NBA star Jonathan Isaac, who have had COVID, recovered, look at a study with 2.5 million people and say, well, you know what? It looks like my immunity is as good as a vaccine or not. And in a free country, maybe I ought to be able to make that decision. Instead, you've chosen to travel the country calling people like Jonathan Isaac and others, myself included, flat earthers. We find that very insulting, goes against the science. Are you a doctor or a medical doctor?
I've worked over 30 years on health policy.
You're not a medical doctor. Do you have a science degree? And yet you travel the country calling people flat earthers who have had COVID, looked at studies of millions of people, and made their own personal decision that their immunity they naturally acquired is sufficient. But you presume somehow to tell over 100 million Americans who have survived COVID that we have no right to determine our own medical care. You alone are on high, and you've made these decisions, a lawyer with no scientific background, no medical degree. This is an arrogance coupled with an authoritarianism that is unseemly and un-American. You, sir, are the one ignoring the science. The vast preponderance of scientific studies, dozens and dozens, show robust, long-lasting immunity after COVID infection. Even the CDC does not recommend measles vaccine if you have measles immunity. The same was true for smallpox. But you ignore history and science to shame the flat earthers, as you call them. You should be ashamed of yourself and apologize to the American people for being dishonest about naturally acquired immunity. Are you familiar with...
One day we're going to find out why they won't even mention the words anymore, natural immunity. You know, and I'm telling you, the vaccine hesitancy at this point comes entirely from their misinformation and our lack of trust of the government. I mean, you know, the priority right now should be getting people aged 40 to, because from age 65 and up, it's like 93% are vaccinated. And again, like I said earlier, about the smallpox vaccine, about the polio, the vaccines that everybody's gotten, tops out at 93%. And that's how many seniors and at-risk people have been vaccinated. So that's good. That's everybody. That is the statistical everybody in America. 93% is the highest you're going to get. That is statistical everybody. So statistically, everybody older than 65 has been vaccinated. Now we should be concentrating on people aged 40 to 65 who have not been vaccinated and who have not had COVID before. And Tell them the truth. Start telling people the truth. How many people have been hurt? How many people have died in that age bracket? And then after that, I'm sorry. You make me suspicious. Anytime you're pushing for 21 to 35-year-old, 18 to 35-year-old, what we call militiamen, able-bodied, 18 to 35-year-old man or woman should have their own choice whether they want to get the vaccine or not. And our children are not at risk. Our children are not vectors of the virus. And our children should not be vaccinated. And while I think it's disgusting, a parent has the right to vaccinate their child, because nobody can advocate for their child more so than a parent and better than a parent. That's why parents should be deciding what kids learn at school. That's why parents should be deciding what vaccines kids do or do not take. Right? I think it's horrible for a child to be taking the vaccine. Under 18, especially under 12. But I still believe that right rests with the parent. Who am I to tell another parent that they shouldn't vaccinate their kid? I could give you my opinion. I don't like it. But that's your kid. Just like I decide yes or no for my kid. What is so difficult to understand? Parents, your family. That's what's important. Not school, not re-education, not indoctrination, not free daycare, free public government school, free community college. That's not a right. Your right is to be free and to be with your family. Anyway, I'm sorry about that transition. I got mixed up. Totally my fault. But as we transition to the border and people pouring over with COVID and other diseases and other intentions, malintentions. I mean, I promise you, people with bad intentions are coming over the border. Whether you're talking about gangs or you're talking about potential terrorists. It's scary. That volume of people, some bad actors are getting in, and we're going to pay the price. I pray we don't, but... All right. So, back in 2007, this is Joe Biden's opinion on what we should do at the border at a little town hall when he was running for president for the 7th time. Play tape.
What do I think about the control of our borders? What would I do about it? Ladies and gentlemen, no great country can say it is secure without being able to control its borders, period. What I would do about it, or what I proposed to do about it almost 13 years ago. I would radically ramp up the number of border security guards we have, the use of electronic surveillance material we have to guard the border, and the number of what they call virtual fences. They're not literally fences. Virtual fences from aerostat balloons on to whereby we can control the border. Much, much better.
Like a country? Control the border? Like any other sovereign country in the history of mankind? You know, Obama said the same thing. And if you're talking about Obama when he said that in 2007, yeah, I was referring to that, but I'm also referring to a couple of days ago. Play tape.
Is tough. It always has been, because on the one hand, I think we are naturally a people that wants to help others. At the same time, we're a nation state. We have borders. The idea that we can just have open borders is something that I think, as a practical matter, is unsustainable.
I'm sorry. I agree with almost every single thing Obama just said. Number one, we are a nation that wants to help people. All right? Conservatives and progressives both do want to help people. Americans are the most charitable people in the history of the world. I know everything about America is the best in the history of the world. I feel like I got to keep reminding you guys of this stuff. We are the most charitable nation in the history of the world. But we are a sovereign nation, and opening the borders the way they've been open is unsustainable. Do you know he did that interview, I think it was for ABC, and they cut that out. They didn't broadcast that part of Obama's video. Do you know just 5 years ago, any editor in a newsroom that cut something so important and relative to the national discourse, any editor that cut that out would have lost his job on the spot. Now networks are making blanket decisions regarding cutting out anything that doesn't fit the progressive radical, I'm sorry, it's radical to open the borders. And anything that doesn't fit that narrative, they cut it out, even if it's Obama. It's very telling. Thankfully, we are able to see that he even had said that in the first place. But yet, the facade continues. Jen Psaki doesn't seem to think we have open borders. Play tape.
And then President Obama said on ABC about the border.
President Obama or President Biden?
President Obama.
Okay.
On ABC said immigration is tough. This was an interview that aired on Good Morning America.
Got it. Yes.
Immigration is tough. It has always been because on one hand, I think we're naturally a people that wants to help others. At the same time, we're a nation state. We have borders. The idea that we can just have open borders is something that, as a practical matter, is unsustainable. Does President Biden agree with President Obama that open borders is unsustainable?
We don't have open borders. So yes, he agrees.
And then did the White House have any discussions with ABC or President Obama about the content of that interview?
Not that I'm aware of. Obviously, the current president, the former president are friends, and they engage on a regular basis, but I'm not aware of any conversations about it.
Yeah. You know, with all due respect, I 100% believe that Obama is more in charge of the executive branch of the government than Biden. Of course, that's just my opinion. But, I mean, am I crazy? Tell me what you think. If you're watching this, tell me regarding the coronavirus, regarding Biden's 97% goal, regarding the NBA players who don't want to get the vaccine, regarding Rand Paul and what he's been doing. Talk about what Obama or Biden said 15 years ago regarding the border. Talk about what Biden said a couple of days ago regarding the border. And, you know, let me know what you think about Poseidon. Tell me, do you agree with me? Am I wrong? Am I right? Am I off a little bit? I want to know what you guys think because that helps me bring you the Johnny Brew Show. So, go down in the comments. Let me know what's going on. Please share the video. Tell a friend. Subscribe to Rumble. I just jumped on there, so that way if YouTube kicks me off, we'll have Rumble to back up on. So please subscribe there. Subscribe on YouTube. Look me up on Facebook. My name is John Brookhagen. Thanks so much, and I'll talk to you soon.